Welcome to Palace Insider. Today we're getting into the latest drama around Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, because people online cannot stop talking about them lately. We seriously need to talk about what might be the most exhausted couple on the planet, and not because of jobs, packed schedules, or parenting stress.
Markle complains that nobody has complained about her for a while.
The real issue looks way more dramatic than that. Every time they appear in public, they seem tired of defending why they always look so tired, and viewers everywhere are picking up on it fast. Some royal watchers even say the couple now looks frustrated every time cameras appear, especially when another awkward interview clip starts trending all over. Yes, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are back in the spotlight again. Basically, the Duke and Duchess of Deja Vu.
BBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Every interview, appearance, and public speech feels like the same conversation replaying again and again. A lot of people now react to Meghan speaking like they are waiting for the next punchline to drop. Late-night hosts, comedians, internet creators, and casual commentators keep turning their headlines into jokes that spread across social media within hours.
A 169-word kids' book that the Irish Times called awful.
Meghan Markle?
You were absolutely right.
Now even Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live joined the conversation with a brutal jab that instantly grabbed attention. He called Prince Harry an unemployed immigrant, and the comment landed hard online because critics already question what role the couple really has anymore. Since stepping away from royal life, many people feel their influence and relevance have dropped in a major way, and the non-stop criticism just keeps getting louder.
That's what she's marrying into. So I hope she likes it. It's going to be weird for her. I would not marry into the royal family.
Some people are even comparing the whole situation to something outdated, like an old dusty DVD collection sitting untouched on a shelf for years. Critics online keep joking that Prince Harry has now been reduced to just another British guy named Harry, standing beside Meghan while the spotlight keeps shifting in unpredictable ways. The royal image that once followed him everywhere now feels distant to a lot of viewers, and people continue questioning what really changed behind palace doors after all the drama exploded into public view. And remember when Harry and Meghan said they wanted a quiet and simple life away from all the chaos? A lot of people feel that plan completely backfired. Instead of fading from attention, they somehow became even bigger headlines than before. Chris Rock stepped into the conversation and broke things down in a way that instantly got people talking everywhere. Looking at their major interview, he basically said, "You can't step into a royal family and then act shocked when there's drama attached. It's like moving into a haunted house and then complaining about ghosts being there."
Markle has confirmed she loves putting flower sprinkles on her food, saying she loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it. And I guess that's a bit like what Prince Harry did when he married a briefcase girl from Deal or No Deal.
But Chris Rock did not stop there. He pushed deeper into the controversy and addressed the huge headlines surrounding concerns about their baby's skin tone. Instead of calling it outright racism, he framed it more as curiosity, completely flipping the narrative upside down and sparking another massive wave of reactions online. In less than a minute, Chris Rock challenged their claims in a bold and unexpected way, and the crowd reacted loudly because the moment hit hard from a completely different angle. A lot of viewers online said his comments caught them off guard because he managed to turn a serious topic into something people debated non-stop afterward. Clips spread everywhere fast, and suddenly the conversation around Harry and Meghan exploded all over again with fresh opinions pouring in from every direction.
That Meghan said that she and Harry actually got married 3 days before the royal wedding. Great, now I feel like a fool for waking up at 5 a.m. to watch two married people get married.
But things really went to another level once South Park jumped into the drama. The show turned Meghan and Harry's situation into a chaotic world privacy tour, and people online could not stop laughing about it. The episode showed them marching around with giant signs yelling, "We want privacy," while doing everything possible to stay in the spotlight at the same time. It was exaggerated, ridiculous, and still felt a little too close to reality for some viewers watching at home. A lot of critics pointed out the same contradiction right away. You cannot keep shouting, "Stop looking at us," while signing major media deals, releasing projects, and lining up interviews back to back. That is not how privacy usually works, and people noticed the mixed message almost instantly. The louder the complaints became, the more attention they seemed to attract, which only made the irony even harder to ignore.
I'm elevating it by putting dried flower petals on all of my food. And just, it adds a little bit of magic, it elevates things.
Then Jimmy Kimmel stepped in with jokes about Harry's memoir. He laughed about Harry writing an entire book explaining how much he dislikes discussing his personal life, and that comment alone had plenty of people raising their eyebrows and laughing online. Putting all of those personal stories into a hardcover memoir made the entire situation feel even more confusing and ironic to a lot of people. Critics online kept asking how someone could claim they wanted peace and privacy while also releasing deeply personal details for the entire world to read. That contradiction became a huge talking point everywhere. Jimmy Kimmel also joked about their reasons for leaving the UK, especially the idea of escaping major problems only to move somewhere with its own complicated celebrity culture and non-stop media attention. Some commentators compared it to running away from freezing weather and somehow ending up on top of Mount Everest anyway, which added another sharp layer to the ongoing debate surrounding the couple.
Reported that the organizers of King Charles's coronation have officially invited Meghan Markle, and this is nice, at a starting salary of $19 an hour.
The jokes kept spreading online because many viewers felt the comparison captured the situation perfectly. Every new appearance, interview, or public project seemed to restart the same conversations all over again, and people were clearly getting exhausted by the non-stop cycle of drama. Then, Joe Coy entered the conversation during the Golden Globes, and he seriously did not hold back at all. The event is usually packed with celebration, applause, and glamorous moments, but he spotted an opening and immediately went after the Sussex duo with sharp jokes that got instant reactions from the audience and online viewers alike. He targeted their Netflix deal and turned it into one of the most talked about moments of the night. Then he painted a hilarious image of Harry walking up to the actress who played the Queen on The Crown and asking her for money. The joke exploded online because critics have spent years claiming the couple's recent moves revolve around interviews, media deals, and sharing their side of royal life in exchange for massive paychecks.
Like, my life was so hard. Everybody's fucking life is hard.
Yeah,
you were the prince of a
true.
goddamn country who dressed up as a fucking Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope? Suck it.
According to many critics online, the past year looked like one non-stop stream of interviews, documentaries, appearances, and media projects, with old royal stories constantly being reshaped for giant platforms and global audiences. Whether people agree with that view or not, the perception has clearly stuck around and keeps showing up in comedy sketches, late-night monologues, and viral social media clips. Every new project seems to reopen the same public debates, and comedians continue using those moments as easy material because audiences instantly recognize the references. Then Jimmy Fallon stepped in with a completely different angle, focusing less on royal drama and more on Meghan's lifestyle content. Out of everything, he locked onto the now famous pretzel moment, and viewers immediately knew exactly what he meant. Meghan, during what looked like a more relatable and casual phase, shared a simple routine that probably seemed harmless at first. But instead of connecting with audiences the way she may have hoped, the moment quickly became internet joke material. She took an ordinary bag of pretzels, poured them into a fancy decorative jar, and presented it in a polished way that some people felt was trying too hard to make something basic seem revolutionary. Fallon leaned fully into that moment, joking about everyday things being dressed up like life-changing discoveries when they are really just normal activities everyone already does.
Of course, Michael. We love American telly. My brother's fiancée, Miss Meghan Markle, is on the American program Suits.
Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m, USA Network. Check it out. She's amazing in it. Yeah?
Right. The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
But the story did not stop there because 2025 brought another unexpected twist into the conversation. A new personality entered the mix with a bold attitude, a standout image, and a habit of saying exactly what many people had been thinking but had not openly said yet. At this point, the jokes have fully crossed into bipartisan comedy territory, and almost nobody seems interested in holding back anymore. Jimmy Fallon jumped back into the conversation again and took another swing at the Sussex drama, this time focusing on Meghan's heavily discussed Oprah interview that had already created endless reactions online and across television. Fallon framed parts of her story as trying a little too hard to appear relatable, and that is where the comedy really started hitting for audiences. Critics kept pointing out the huge contrast between living a multi-millionaire lifestyle inside a massive mansion while still trying to connect with viewers through simple, everyday experiences like craving frozen yogurt or talking about ordinary routines. That contrast is exactly what comedians continue zooming in on because it feels disconnected to a lot of people watching from home.
I'm like, she don't know nothing. Going on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google this? It's the royal family!
Some compared it to a tech billionaire passionately talking about a summer job from decades ago, like it still defines their entire identity. Others joked about powerful celebrities acting as if tiny relatable moments somehow erase massive wealth and privilege. The exaggeration is what makes the humor land so strongly, even though reactions stay mixed depending on the audience and their views about Harry and Meghan. Then Stephen Colbert joined the non-stop late-night commentary with his own sarcastic angle. He focused on the nicknames Harry and Meghan use for each other, H and M, and joked that the name sounded less like a romantic love story and more like a flashy sale banner hanging in a department store window. That joke quickly became another viral moment added to the growing pile of late-night shots aimed at the royal couple and their public image. And just when people thought the drama around Harry and Meghan could not possibly get any bigger, another fresh wave of headlines crashed into the conversation, and social media reacted almost instantly. Stephen Colbert's joke about H and M stuck with viewers because, for many critics, it pointed toward a much larger issue surrounding the couple. A growing number of people now feel that nearly everything connected to them seems extremely polished, carefully managed, and designed for attention-grabbing headlines instead of feeling natural or spontaneous. That perception has only grown stronger over time, especially among critics who believe the couple's public image looks more like a carefully planned brand than genuine everyday life. Whether that criticism is fair or completely exaggerated really depends on who you ask, but there is no denying it has become a major part of the public conversation surrounding Harry and Meghan. Every appearance, speech, or interview now gets picked apart online within minutes, and people continue debating what feels authentic versus what feels staged. Trevor Noah's comments are where things suddenly took a very interesting turn. Earlier on, he sounded much more supportive than most comedians, often talking about media bias, unfair treatment, and the importance of giving Meghan a fair chance. His tone came across more understanding, and he seemed willing to look at the situation differently from the non-stop late-night jokes. But then something shifted, and audiences noticed the change immediately. Trevor reacted to the moment Harry appeared to pitch a Disney voiceover opportunity, and that clip completely changed the tone of the conversation around them for many viewers online. Seeing a prince openly trying to secure a Hollywood voiceover deal sparked a completely different reaction from audiences, and Trevor Noah really leaned into that contrast during his commentary. What started as sympathy and understanding slowly shifted into light skepticism, and eventually even disbelief, as the gap between royal status and celebrity hustle became harder for both comedians and viewers to ignore. Trevor seemed fascinated watching the transformation happen in real time. But from his perspective, it did not exactly look smooth or graceful at all. For many people watching, the entire situation began looking less like a peaceful, fresh start and more like a messy public reinvention unfolding in front of millions of viewers. Every new project, partnership, and media appearance added another layer to the conversation. Some critics argued that Harry and Meghan seemed caught between two worlds, trying to distance themselves from royal expectations, while also staying deeply connected to celebrity culture and constant public attention. Then Bill Maher stepped into the debate sounding almost like a frustrated teacher pointing out a contradiction nobody could ignore anymore. He focused directly on the mixed signals people keep talking about nonstop. On one side, there are repeated complaints about overwhelming media attention and invasion of privacy, but on the other side, there are interviews, major deals, documentaries, and nonstop headlines keeping the spotlight fully locked on them. A lot of viewers struggle to take the "leave us alone" message seriously when it is surrounded by announcements, appearances, and media campaigns everywhere they turn. One joke even compared Meghan to someone who would have been introduced on The Bachelor as Meghan M from Sherman Oaks Barista, before suddenly getting lucky and marrying into royalty. That sharp contrast became another major talking point online. Then, Nikki Glaser entered the conversation, and she definitely did not soften her comments at all. Nikki Glaser delivered a sharp joke suggesting Meghan may have viewed the marriage as a massive life upgrade, and the audience reacted immediately. Her comparison painted a dramatic picture of an alternate reality, where Meghan's path could have looked completely different if she had never entered royal life. The punchline landed hard because it tapped directly into one of the biggest questions that keeps showing up in online debates and celebrity commentary surrounding the couple. Some people wonder what expectations existed behind the scenes from the very beginning, while others believe everything unfolded exactly the way Harry and Meghan intended. No matter which side people take, Nikki's comments added another bold layer to an already non-stop stream of public opinions, criticism, and late-night comedy moments. At this point, almost every comedian seems to have their own angle on the Sussex story, and audiences continue reacting strongly every single time new jokes appear online. The American comedians definitely brought plenty of laughs, but the British comedians entered the conversation with a completely different energy, and they came in much sharper. Jimmy Carr led the charge, and with his signature grin, viewers could instantly tell something controversial was about to land. Carr did not avoid the topic at all. He openly called Harry a whining hypocrite before bringing up one of the most controversial moments from Harry's past, the infamous costume incident. People still remember that old image clearly, and Carr used it to question how Harry now speaks publicly about serious social issues like racism. That moment triggered strong reactions from both supporters and critics almost immediately, and pushed the debate into even more heated territory online. What Jimmy Carr tapped into is something many critics in the UK have quietly discussed for years, even before the recent wave of non-stop headlines surrounding Harry and Meghan. His point was not subtle at all. Carr basically took opinions that had mostly stayed behind closed doors and dragged them directly into the spotlight using his usual no-filter comedy style. The bigger issue he focused on was contradictions, and that is exactly where audiences started leaning in more closely and reacting louder. When someone grows up surrounded by royal titles, historic privilege, worldwide fame, and constant media attention, every single action gets examined under a microscope. That contrast between past behavior and present messaging is what continues fueling so much of the debate around Prince Harry today. Critics especially focus on the tension between speaking publicly about changing outdated systems while still being deeply connected to one of the oldest and most traditional institutions on the planet. For many viewers, that clash feels impossible to ignore, and Carr turned the entire issue into a sharp punchline that stayed in people's minds long after the joke ended. Some laughed. Others thought it crossed the line, but almost everyone had a reaction. That is why his comments spread so quickly online and sparked another flood of heated discussions everywhere. But there is still one British host left to bring into the conversation, and his take may have hit harder than all the others combined. Not because he was the loudest voice, but because some people believe he spotted the situation coming long before the rest of the public caught on. That host is John Oliver, now based in the US, and famous for breaking down political chaos, celebrity controversies, and strange industry behavior with sharp detail and sarcasm. But when it comes to Meghan Markle, John Oliver had something most other comedians and commentators did not have at the time: receipts going all the way back to before the royal wedding even happened. Long before the endless interviews, documentaries, memoirs, and viral controversies, Oliver joked that marrying into the royal family could end up being the worst decision Meghan ever made. Back then, many people brushed it off as just another clever late-night joke meant to get laughs from the audience. But years later, a lot of viewers started looking back at that moment differently, and suddenly, the clip began spreading online again. People now say the joke feels strangely accurate after everything that happened publicly between Meghan, Harry, the royal family, and the media circus surrounding them. What once sounded exaggerated started looking more like an early warning sign that many ignored at the time. Before entering royal life, Meghan was mostly known as an American actress with a confident public image and a strong, independent voice. She openly spoke about social issues, carried herself with confidence, and built a reputation around being modern, outspoken, and ambitious. That identity stood out immediately, especially compared to the traditional structure of the royal family. It is exactly why John Oliver's old comments continue resurfacing in these conversations today, because people now connect those early observations to the chaos that followed afterward. The contrast between the Meghan people saw before the wedding and the version constantly appearing in global headlines afterward is what keeps fueling non-stop debate online. Critics often point to how different the reality turned out compared to the glamorous fairy tale image many expected back then. A lot of people believed she would smoothly transition into royal life, become hugely popular worldwide, and easily fit into the institution while helping modernize it at the same time. But according to critics, things unfolded very differently and much messier than expected. Instead of a calm fairy tale story, the situation slowly transformed into years of tension, family conflict rumors, non-stop media battles, and public disagreements playing out in front of the entire world. Looking back now, some people feel John Oliver's old joke hit surprisingly close to reality, even if nobody fully realized it at the time. What started as a picture-perfect royal narrative eventually turned into one of the most heavily discussed celebrity controversies in modern media. Through all of it, Harry and Meghan continue presenting themselves as misunderstood figures trying to explain their side of the story, while critics, comedians, and audiences keep debating every new headline louder than ever before. Here's where the whole situation really starts standing out for people watching from the outside. If only one comedian made a joke about Harry and Meghan, most people would probably brush it off and move on quickly. But when late-night hosts, stand-up comics, animated shows, podcast personalities, internet creators, and satire programs all keep pointing out the exact same patterns again and again, it starts feeling much bigger than coincidence. That is the part many viewers cannot stop noticing anymore. At some point, people stop seeing it as some massive coordinated attack and begin wondering if the criticism is growing because the same contradictions continue playing out publicly over and over. Every new interview, project, speech, or appearance seems to reopen the same debate, and comedians keep using those moments because audiences instantly recognize the pattern. Others think the explanation is even simpler than that. Maybe Harry and Meghan have just become extremely easy comedy material, and that is why entertainers continue circling back to them repeatedly. From a comedy standpoint, it is hard for people to ignore moments where the gap between what is being said and what audiences think they are seeing feels enormous. Some critics joke that the gap is so huge you could practically park a royal carriage right in the middle of it. That contrast is what keeps the punchlines alive, what keeps social media reacting, and what keeps audiences talking every single time Harry and Meghan trend online again. At the end of the day, many comedians claim it is less about personally targeting the couple and more about reacting to public patterns people can clearly see for themselves. Once those moments become recognizable, comedy writers turn them into entertainment, and the cycle keeps repeating louder every year. But what do you think about all this drama? Do comedians go too far sometimes, or do Harry and Meghan keep making themselves easy targets for these jokes? Drop your thoughts down in the comments because people are seriously divided on this topic right now. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more royal drama, celebrity controversies, and viral moments coming your way. Thanks for watching Palace Insider, and we'll catch you in the next one.